Are you natural or not? A question that plagues the online fitness community. It's a simple question. Do you use performance-enhancing drugs or not? Well, that's what you'd think. Unfortunately, there are a lot of misconceptions around steroid usage, specifically in bodybuilding. Growing up, I always knew that bodybuilders used steroids, but I really had no idea just how many guys were on the sauce.
Oh my god.
I always knew the Ronnie Colemans and Tom Platzes of the world were on gear, but not only did I not understand how steroids actually worked, I somehow thought they just magically gave you massive muscles, but I also thought that the A-list actors that we see in all the superhero movies were a good representation of what naturals looked like. It wasn't until I watched the video that PewDiePie of all people made a couple of years ago talking about this exact thing that I realized just how many guys are on gear. Since then, I've started working out, and through people like Derek from MorePlatesMoreDates.com and Dr. Mike from Renaissance Periodization.
I don't struggle with words, I'm quite verbose, but I do struggle with definitely my sexuality. I'm addicted to adult films. I just picked up smoking as a habit.
I've begun to understand steroid usage a bit more than I used to. Now, even though my knowledge is still very limited in the grand scheme of things, it has introduced me to something I'm sure most people who've dipped their toes into the online fitness community or due to semi-recent events. Actually, no, it's been like 2 years, isn't it? It's not that recent, never mind. I digress. My point is, even people who aren't in the fitness community have heard of it. The fake natty. Someone who is on the good old sauce, yet won't admit to it. Or in some cases, outright claims that they do not use steroids. In many cases, it's very obvious that someone either does or doesn't use steroids, but oftentimes it's a little less clear, fueling endless Greg Doucette videos about if Alex Eubank is natural or not. He's made so many videos. I'm surprised he's made this much content out of a guy that posts the same thing on Instagram over and over again. Alex is actually living rent-free in Greg's head. Easily the most famous case of a fake natty being exposed in recent memory was the one, the only, Liver King.
Fresh testicles.
AKA Brian Johnson, who became famous on social media for his rather extreme lifestyle, which consisted of a diet of mostly raw meat and organs like liver, obviously, and testicles. Of course, while claiming to be completely natural.
I don't touch this stuff. I've never done this stuff. I'm not gonna do this stuff.
What stuff?
The ass full of steroids.
Instead, he claimed that he got his insane physique from his ancestral lifestyle, which consisted of following the 9 ancestral tenets, which are... hold on. Sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, and bond. What is all of that supposed to mean? No idea. Will I try to figure out what it means? No, I will not, because I have a better ancestral metaphor for life.
Right, wife. Life good. Wife fight back. Kill wife. Wife gone. Think about wife. Regret.
Wow, wasn't that just so beautiful and powerful? Really speaks to the soul. Now, because of Brian's very extreme lifestyle, despite the fact that everyone who knew anything said he isn't natural...
Well, he's got an ass filled with steroids is what he's got.
It did fool a lot of people into thinking that maybe he is natural, and that his physique comes from his ancestral lifestyle, which you could of course follow yourself by buying his supplements. That is, until Derek from MorePlatesMoreDates.com exposed emails between Brian and a doctor showing that he spends $12,000 a month on gear, which is strange because last time I checked, our ancient ancestors weren't blasting synthetic human growth hormone, giving us this absolute classic clip.
I don't touch this stuff, not gonna touch this stuff, never touch this stuff. That was a lie.
Now, in the video, he says why he lied about his steroid usage. To put it in internet terms, he was going to turn all the blue-pilled beta-cuck soy boys into red-pilled sigma male gigachads. Which is a noble cause and all, but I'm not sure if lying to them about what is possible to achieve by following your lifestyle would have made their depression less. But who am I to judge? I'm just a little soy boy who doesn't like eating balls. Now, obviously, I understand why Brian might have been reluctant to admit to his steroid usage. It kind of undermines your whole message about ancestral living when you're injecting yourself with hormones from a lab. But that in no way justifies explicitly lying about it, because from what I can tell, he actually does follow his 9 ancestral tenets, with an extra helping of sauce with his liver. Liver also is good for you, so it's not like his message is entirely BS. However, the main goal for him has always been to make money.
My main goal is to
make money.
and selling his ancestral lifestyle while being open about being on gear would have been a lot more difficult. Maybe not impossible, it's difficult to know for sure. Although, during a recent archaeological dig unearthing artifacts from the ancient ancestors of the Khoisan people, researchers discovered hundreds of empty vials of tren, revealing that the ancient Africans were far more swole than historians previously thought. Now, what particularly bothers me about fake natties on the internet is that they don't have to lie about it. There are plenty of people on the internet who openly admit to using steroids and no one cares. Almost everyone who knows anything about bodybuilding understands that every person on the Mr. Olympia stage uses steroids. And with people being more open about it, it has given people the opportunity to talk about the fact that PEDs aren't magical drugs that make you huge. It still takes a lot of hard work, a dialed-in diet, and great genetics to look like Chris Bumstead. Even though I'm sure he has plenty of medical professionals helping him get his stack just right, the reason he looks like that isn't just because he takes drugs. Importantly, he talks about the dangers of steroid use.
I've heard you say that in the past there was compounds and things that you would have taken that now you're like, this is it's too dangerous. What are the things that for you are like off the table with regards to this is too much, this is too risky for me?
The biggest one is like trend.
Yeah.
The good old trend that like there's guys who literally like base their social media off that now. It's just like a meme of the internet, of the gym culture. And I don't even think people realize the impact that these jokes and memes have on like people coming up who just see you constantly joking and talking about saying you need more of it to like be better and feel stronger and all this shit. But that's probably the most toxic thing you can put in your body.
He brings up something I think is very important, and that is that with more people being aware of steroid usage, it has normalized taking steroids to a point where guys think hopping on tren is almost a rite of passage, and as Sebum said, it has become a meme. If you look at someone like Sam Sulek, who is easily one of the most beloved bodybuilders on the internet right now, it's commonly understood that he takes PEDs. Even though I don't think he has ever addressed the question as to whether or not he's natural, I mean, just look at him. It's very obvious. As much as I am glad people understand that looking like him isn't naturally obtainable, the downside is that you have young guys who consider taking steroids to look like him when they haven't built up a good foundation yet. Not to mention, they haven't been lifting for long enough to know if taking steroids will even be worth it for them, or if being super into working out is just a phase they're going through. Which, let's be real, working out when you're young is a phase for a lot of people. Not everyone is going to stick to it for the rest of their life. Which is why it's such a good thing that there are people putting out honest and educational content around using PEDs. However, even after everything I said about how nowadays it is commonly understood just how many guys are on gear, some people still straight up lie about it. Another well-known case of this is Mike O'Hearn, and he claims to be a lifetime natural. Seriously, this guy, at 54 years old, claims he is natural, even though it's blatantly obvious that he isn't. But you don't need to take my word for it. Take it from the man who's built his career on discussing steroids on YouTube, Derek from moreplaysmoredates.com.
Today we're going to be talking about Mike O'Hearn. So, people still ask me to cover this guy. I'm not going to waste your guys' time. This, like, what's the fucking point? This guy is not natty.
And when asked about it in person by a content creator who goes by Kenny KO, he gives the most unconvincing answer I've ever heard.
Do you still claim lifetime natural?
Natural is natural, right? And any kind of TRT or HRT would be unnatural, right? Because you're adding something to it. Is that what people are doing now? Going, hey, I'm natural, but I'm on TRT?
I mean, there's a divide. There's some people that think that because you're just replenishing what your hormones should be, that you're still natural.
Oh, okay. You're optimizing your body. You're trying to be the very best you can. And you're on TRT right now.
Right, correct.
That's good. I mean, if you feel better, right? Because you did it young, right? You did it...
Like three-ish years ago. For TRT, that is.
When you competed, am I correct?
Yeah, 2019 was my last show.
Okay. Don't you think that that's a little young to do stuff?
For sure.
Mostly if you want to be like double nickels like me, it's still kind of healthy and got good blood markers and all that.
Well, we need to see your blood work. That's why you got to send it to me, you know?
Yeah, I guess that would be a great thing. But also, common sense also shows strength is still there. The joints and ligaments are still there. That's what, in my belief, health and fitness should be about.
Wait, so are you on TRT or are you just promoting TRT?
Oh, I'm promoting optimum health.
So are you doing it though? Are you optimizing your health?
We answered that. Don't keep going back. Don't keep going back.
Is it yes or no?
I'm showing you the blood work.
Yeah.
So you can go with it.
Okay.
And then you can make your decision to the fans.
But yes or no, are you optimizing your hormones?
Are you trying to get views? He's trying to get views.
This guy must have studied politics the way he deflected that question. If you're going to just try to avoid the question, you might as well just say, yes, you take gear. It's a very simple question, so when you try to complicate it, you really aren't convincing anyone. It's like if you walk in on a toddler with an empty jar of Nutella and Nutella smeared around his mouth, and you go, did you eat the Nutella? And he goes, Nutella, I think I've heard about that. Oh yes, Nutella. That's a really good question. Did I eat the Nutella? Well, plenty of people really like Nutella. You know, Nutella is really popular actually. Did you eat the Nutella? Oh, I see. You're trying to get views. The problem is that if people believe what these bodybuilders want them to, that exacerbates an already prominent problem of body dysmorphia amongst young men. The same young men the Liver King wanted to help by, let me check my notes here, lying to them. Some guy who might feel bad about his body, who feels like he isn't good enough and wants to look better, looks at these guys and they tell him that the way they look is just down to their dedicated lifestyle and genetics, which realistically is true. But it's not the whole truth. For most people, even if you start taking steroids, you still will not look as good as them. So you can imagine how it is for people who don't take steroids. Which is why it's so important to set realistic expectations for people who get into working out and warn them of the dangers of taking steroids so they can actually approach fitness in a way where it has the most benefit for their overall health and well-being, both mental and physical. Because for the majority of us, hopping on this special pre-workout is not the right choice, and it certainly won't cure your body dysmorphia because the fact of the matter is you will never be big enough. Now, for some people, taking steroids is absolutely worth it. If you want to get to the highest level of bodybuilding, you're going to have to start eating your chicken and rice at some point. However, I don't want to do that. The reason I started working out is because one day I had the sudden realization that I am indeed a skinny bitch. I view working out as a lifelong commitment in order to be healthy and stay in shape, mostly in order to get women. Still waiting for that to happen though. Any day now. But that is something I really don't need steroids for, and I have had to make the conscious choice not to compare myself to the bodybuilders I see on social media, because I am not in a competition with them, and comparing yourself to people on social media selling you a lie is a very unproductive use of your time. But then again, what would I know? I'm just a little soy boy who doesn't eat balls. Alright, thank you for watching everyone. Remember to like and subscribe or else my dad will hit me again. Also, for the one person who made it this far, this whole video was a lie. I'm actually hopped off trend right now. Remember to click the link in my bio to buy my supplements that have not been approved by any regulatory bodies and may or may not give you cancer.